All right, let's just jump right in. We're on the brink of something huge, a technological revolution that's going to reshape, well, everything. But here's the crazy part. Where there should be a massive global conversation, there's just this deep, deafening silence. So today, we're going to look at who is actually deciding the future of AGI. That's artificial general intelligence, the kind with human-like smarts, and more importantly, why the rest of us aren't even in the room. The source material we're drawing from puts it just like this. And honestly, it's the perfect way to kick things off. It just nails that feeling, you know? That feeling that something absolutely massive is unfolding right in front of our eyes, but the whole process just feels off. It's happening in plain sight, but it's completely wrapped in silence. And that leads us straight to our first big point, this profound silence. We're talking about a technology that will completely overhaul everything: power, jobs, who we are, even how we're governed. And yet, it's arriving with basically none of the public debate you'd expect for something this world-changing. And I mean, think about what's missing here. It's not just that we're not seeing enough news stories about it. We're seeing a total vacuum where the core processes of a democracy should be. No serious national debates, no ongoing government forums, not even any real organized conversations with regular people. Zilch. And here's the kicker. This isn't just an oversight. It's not like someone forgot to send the invitation. This silence is structural. It's a feature of how this tech is being rolled out, not some accidental bug. So that leads to the million-dollar question, doesn't it? If the public isn't making these decisions, then who is? Let's talk about the architects of our tomorrow. Well, the answer is a pretty small, very exclusive club. You've got the venture capitalists who are bankrolling the whole thing, the company executives calling the shots, and the technologists who are actually building it. That's pretty much the whole list. And this is a perfect example of how even the debates are kept in-house. You had Mark Andreessen worrying that the government was going to try and control AI by picking a few favorite companies. Sam Altman from OpenAI basically said that's an exaggeration, but look where this argument happened. It was in private talks and public comments between insiders. It wasn't in a town hall or a public forum. And that really gets to the heart of the problem. We've got plenty of brilliant people working on AI. The source puts it perfectly. What is missing is not intelligence. What is missing is legitimacy. The bottom line is nobody voted for this. We never gave our consent. We weren't even invited to the discussion. So, just how big of a deal is this moment? Well, let's put it into historical perspective. Are we basically just giving up on our democratic responsibility right now? I mean, think back. When the US founders were literally rewriting the rules of government, they didn't do it behind closed doors. They argued, they wrote, they held conventions, all out in the open. They got a fundamental principle. Systems that govern us have to be created with us, not just forced on us. And today, we seem to be doing the exact opposite. So look at the trade-offs we're making. Instead of the public's will, we have corporate incentives. Instead of careful, deliberate thought, we have a frantic race for speed. And instead of the consent of the people, we have the power of money. The source argues this isn't just innovation, it's abdication. It's a surrender of our most basic role as citizens. Okay, so giving up our democratic voice like this obviously has consequences, which brings us to our next point. Silence is submission. Let's really dig into the danger of just staying quiet and passive right now. See, being silent isn't a neutral act. It's basically giving permission. And here's how it happens. First, all these new surveillance systems get locked into place. Then, the AI systems making decisions become so complicated, so opaque, that we can't even question them. Then, power gets permanently stuck in the hands of that tiny group. And the final step? Our very ability to be represented as citizens could just be automated away. And this leads to one of the most chilling lines from our source material. This isn't just some passive thing where, some people get left behind by progress. No, it's an active process. People are being designed out of the future. So yeah, this situation is incredibly urgent, but it's not hopeless. And that brings us to our final section, the rewrite moment. This is all about the choice that is right in front of every single one of us right now. It's so easy to fall into the trap of thinking, they'll handle it, that the tech companies or the politicians or the markets will just figure it out. But that is such a dangerous assumption, because none of those things, none of them, are built to protect human dignity by default. They're built to make profits, to win elections, and to be efficient. That's their job. So that means we have to be the ones asking the really basic, fundamental questions. Questions like, who's actually in charge of AGI? And who checks its work? Who audits it when it inevitably gets something wrong? And maybe the most important question of all, who has the off switch? Who can shut it down if it goes against our best interests? The fact that we don't have clear answers to these questions, well, that's the whole problem, isn't it? You know, this moment is so much bigger than just us. Generations to come will look back at this exact period and judge us for what we did or what we didn't do. They're going to ask, when the actual rules of society were being rewritten, why didn't you demand a voice? Why didn't you debate? Why didn't you organize? So if there's one thing you take away from all this, let it be this. Staying quiet is not the safe option. It's not a neutral position. It is an active choice, and it has massive consequences. As the source says, silence will not protect us. It will indict us. And that leaves all of us with one final, huge question. The future is being written right now, as we speak. So the only thing left to decide is what role we're going to play. Are we going to demand to be co-authors of what comes next, or are we just going to accept living inside a future someone else designed, without a voice?